Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Monday, October 20th, 2025. I am Bishop Darrell Watkins, the Senior Minister of the Sunshine Cathedral. With me today are Bishop Robert Griffin, Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, and Reverend Kevin Tisdall. We are the Queer God Squad. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about us.
Queer God Squad was created by Hotspots Happening Out to support our mission to explore the value of faith in the LGBTQ community. There is no streaming TV show like this in the entire world.
In 2025, we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of Hotspots magazine, with Queer News Tonight sharing over 11,000 stories and 11 million views so far.
We are the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media organization in America, and we encourage you to support our mission to inform, entertain, and educate our community and allies.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. The Queer God Squad sees the connection between conservative Christianity and white nationalism. Christian nationalism asserts that the United States was founded as a divinely ordained Christian nation and should be governed exclusively by conservative Christian principles. For many white Americans, this concept becomes fused with racial identity, creating quote-unquote white Christian nationalism, a form of white identity politics. The synthesis of a particular brand of Christianity with far-right politics provides white nationalism with religious justification and appeal among a particular demographic. Proponents often frame current demographics and cultural changes, such as immigration and diversity, not as political disputes, but quote-unquote spiritual warfare. This apocalyptic worldview encourages aggressive political action to preserve a perceived Christian and white cultural hegemony against existential threats. Consequently, Christian nationalist beliefs are empirically linked to anti-immigration, anti-democratic, and racially exclusionist attitudes among white adherents, creating an environment where conservative religious rhetoric directly empowers and validates the goals of white nationalist movements. The religious language supplies a moral justification for what are fundamentally racial and political grievances. White nationalism is racist, potentially violent, and in many ways undemocratic. The irony, of course, is that Jesus was a brown man from Asia with Northern African heritage, a Jew, never knew about our continent, didn't speak our language, which did not yet exist, and was particularly concerned about the other: women, children, Samaritans, lepers, sex workers, to name a few. Jesus would almost certainly not embrace white nationalism, and white nationalism would almost certainly not embrace the real Jesus. There's a lot to unpack with that. First and foremost, let me say that America was not founded as a conservative Christian nation. It was not founded as any.
It wasn't founded.
Nope.
It was found, but it was not founded.
I'm not talking about the physical land. I'm talking about right now the political setup. And I'm going to dig deep into the guy who did most of the writing of that Declaration of Independence and that Constitution, Thomas Jefferson. And I'm just going to share what he thought about what religion was supposed to be. Number one, religious freedom is a natural right. That means that you should be able to choose any religion that you want. It's not set up by a government. There was a wall of separation that he believed fully in between church and state, that both should react and function separate from each other. And religion, he asserted, that faith is a personal and individual domain where a person owes accountability for their beliefs to no other person than their God or whatever they conceive their God to be. And again, he believed that there had to be a separation, a deep separation of church and state. So when we start talking about whether or not we are supposed to be a Christian nation. No, we're not. And a conservative nation? No. The guys, and it was all guys, who put together this framework that we have were radicals. They fought against imperialism. They did everything possible to make sure that some of them, those who had land especially,
landowners,
would benefit from this world. Now, this whole thing to me, this Christian conservative white nationalism boils down for me to be one thing, and we've talked about it at this table a number of times, and that is that the racists of our country want us to believe that they should always be in charge. Specifically, the rich racists. They don't want the normal, quote unquote, normal gallon guy to be any part of them. They want to make sure that they run everything and we do everything that they say that we should do. So no, that there is no love between, I don't think, anybody at this table and the thought that we should be a conservative white nationalist country. I hope.
Yeah. The construct of white people. In fact, whiteness has been redefined about midway through the 20th century. In the early days, white was very, very selective. Irish weren't white, Italians weren't white, Greeks weren't white. And so they were all ghettoized and they were not white. And so the Puerto Rican neighborhood next to the Polish neighborhood, next to the Chinese neighborhood, that they were all in the same boat, really, compared to white people. To keep white power, whiteness expanded after World War II to include people who looked white. But for a long time, white was you could be culturally white, as well as genetically Caucasian. They expanded white to keep white power, and but still, classism is still a part of that. Where if we can get everyone to vote for us, so the rich can get richer. And we're going to say it's going to trickle down to the poor white people. We don't even care about the non-white people. It never does, but they buy it every time. And so now we have fewer people controlling more money and more power and more commerce. I think there's like 3 major airlines left in the world. Just one big company swallows up another big company swallows up. And the last time that kind of monopolization happened was right before 1929. And that's what that led to. But history, whatever.
Yeah, how about that?
But this is what I want to say about conservatism. So that's the white bit. What I want to say about the conservative bit, and nationalism is just BS anyway. But this is what I want to say. It's the nursery school of racism, nationalism. I mean, that's what it is. That's where you learn to be. But whatever. This is what I want to say about the conservative Christian part, though. Prophets don't conserve, prophets challenge. Prophets aren't trying to maintain the status quo. They're challenging it. That's what a prophet is. Messiahs don't maintain the status quo. Messiahs aren't static. They lead movements, and movements move, hopefully forward. Prophets do not conserve. They challenge. Messiahs don't stay static. They move, and they lead movement. And finally, God's world doesn't have national boundaries. God's kingdom is everywhere and for everyone. That is the antithesis of white Christian nationalism.
I appreciate the last sentence. Jesus would almost certainly not embrace white nationalism, and white nationalism would almost certainly not embrace the real Jesus. This group of people has taken Jesus and made Jesus a weapon. They've made Jesus into someone that he truly never was. And the displays of piety, like just, for example, like pushing the 10 Commandments. And at the same time, they're passing laws that will harm poor people, that will harm women. It makes no sense. It just doesn't even make sense. I think if people just stopped and took a look at what was happening, what they're doing, maybe they might realize it doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
The governor of Arkansas is a white Christian nationalist. She is a conservative, Christian. Her father was a fundamentalist pastor before he became a politician, before he became a broadcaster. And And in Arkansas last month, there were 32 domestic violence shelters until the funding got cut.
Yeah.
And so much funding cut that only 6 kept any funding.
Yeah.
26 domestic violence shelters lost all funding. One of them had to let everyone go but 2 people, the person who runs it and one other person, and they're going to try to keep it open for as long as they can, but there's no way that 2 people can answer the needs of 1 or 2 or 3 counties for very long. Not to mention that without the funding, they'll probably run out of money anyway. And so 6 of a state of, what, 2-3 million? 6 to serve all of that area in a place that is not a peacenik, hippie, liberal kind of thing anyway. And domestic violence is a national problem anyway. And there's going to be 6 in the whole state. And the Christian nationalist governor signed that.
Yeah.
For all I know, she proposed it.
Yeah.
But she certainly signed it. And women and children are going to die from this.
Yes.
Some fool that they couldn't get away from is going to kill somebody.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
Yeah.
You know, this is one of those moments in times that you realize we are in a unique time in history, and it is about which side of history are you going to stand on.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think when we look at all this around, the conservative Christian and white nationalism, you don't hear anything about Black Christian nationalism, Asian Christian nationalism, Hispanic Christian nationalism, queer Christian nationalism. You don't hear those things. So if you are feeling left out of the white Christian nationalism, feel proud of it, because it does not include you. You don't want to be a part of that.
Please don't want me.
And so I think we need to take that notion of our exclusion from this as an empowering moment to rise up with our voices, with our votes, with our encouragement of each other, and remind, I think Robert Schuller, who said, tough times don't always last, but tough people do. We need to remind ourselves that we are tough people, that we need to be working on the tough people nation, the tough people national that says we're gonna stand up against all of this, the oppressor, the wannabe oppressor, because I have to believe that there are more of us than there are of you. A lot of those old photos you see about, when people are enslaved, they're behind these fences and everything, and there's just hundreds and hundreds of people enslaved. You got one guy holding a gun.
Yeah.
Or 2 guys holding a gun. Whatever made me think that was the right option to not overtake the guy with a gun, say, we can do this. And we will do this. We will survive this. We will stand up. We'll continue to offer each other hope. But it's just time to make sure that we're on the right side of history, so that when we look back ourselves, or when our relatives of our kids or our nieces and nephews look, and they ask that question that goes around, which side of history did you stand on? Yeah. Did you speak out? Did you say anything? Because if you're just sitting there not doing anything, then we know exactly where you stood.
Yep.
We used to say in the early days of the AIDS movement, silence equals death.
Yeah.
It's still true.
Yes.
And that's today with the Queer God Squad.
Before we go, I want to invite you to check out the Performing Arts series. Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts has great acts lined up for 2025 and 2026 season. Here is the taste of what is coming up.
Golden Ghouls. Picture it. Halloween 2025 will be on our stage one night only, October 25th.
Then, on November 7th, we welcome back Miss Coco Peru in Fuck This Shit. If this show is like her other tours de force, there will be storytelling, laughs, singing, and a moral to tie up the evening. Or maybe this one is entirely different. You'll have to come to the show to know for sure. But you already know it's going to be one of the best nights of comedy and drag artistry you will have enjoyed all year.
December 7th brings Matthew Darren's annual holiday Fantasia. Always amazing, and this year it will again be co-hosted by Varla Jean Merman.
And in 2026, there are already some great shows lined up, such as Selections from Pearly, a musical based on the play Pearly Victorious by Ossie Davis, on February the 7th. For more information about these shows and others, and to secure your tickets, go to sunshinecathedral.org/arts, and also be sure to check out the Cathedral Pub.
Please like and share this episode on your social media, and look for Sunshine Cathedral on Facebook or Instagram.
You can also like our individual pages on Facebook. Remember to visit sunshinecathedral.org frequently. There you will find Bishop Talk, where Bishop Durrell and I interview queer religious leaders, activists, and scholars.
Thank you for joining the Queer God Squad today. We are here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together. Remember that we are all in this together, and also remember, you are God's miracle and not God's mistake. Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad. Goodbye.